Alrighty. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's Friday going? How was your week? I had a somewhat shitty week. Got into a mini little motorcycle accident yesterday on my way home. Had somebody slam on their brakes suddenly, unexpectedly, of course. And yeah, it was. I didn't get hurt that bad. My my leg, my foot came off of one of the foot pegs, and the motorcycle went forward, and my leg kind of slipped off and went backwards, and so I burned my calf on my exhaust. Just a small part of my calf on my exhaust. The bike's fine, so I'm pretty much fine. The other car's not. Supposedly, the tire of my motorcycle did a decent little bit of damage to the to his back end of this Yukon, GMC Yukon. So I gotta claim. I've gotta type up a bunch of information, say what make my statement, and I took a whole bunch of photos. And supposedly this dude admitted right there in front of me and the cops that he had just gotten the car fixed from an accident a handful of weeks ago. So I don't know what y'all think, but to me that's a little suspect as far as whether or not, one, he's just a really bad driver, or two, this could possibly be an insurance fraud. I don't know. So we're gonna see what happens. So if there's more to the story, I will let y'all know for sure. But anyways, let's see who all we got in here besides Crispy. Crispy was first. Appreciate it. Love it when you can join me here. El Cap in the house. And Joe. How you doing, Joe? Saying hey to everybody. So I had the accident yesterday, so that was just a big fucking bunch of bullshit. What an asshole. I'm irritated by it. I'm not shaken up. I'm just irritated by it because it's something I got to deal with that I didn't want to deal with. Again, the only damage that was done to the bike was just a little tiny scratch on my front fender. Tiny little scratch. But yeah, so what we were making really busy road, and we were coming off of the side road, making that right-hand turn to merge into traffic to get onto this busy road. And it's at 6:30 in the evenings, 6:45 in the evening. So a lot of traffic. And so he kept doing, which a lot of people do, they stop and then they creep a little bit forward, stop again, look, creep a little forward, stop again, look. Every time they look to see if and judge whether or not there's enough space for them to merge. He was doing that crap. But when he was about to go, when I thought he had gone, when he had taken off, because he had an aftermarket exhaust that was kind of noisy, shortened little tailpipe. So it was loud when I thought he took off, and we were both looking, there was a crap ton of space, an insane amount of space. There was like a mile of road of empty space because I guess previously the lights had changed and so it created this big ass gap. He had tons of space to go. And he went to go, and then as I was looking back to make sure that that gap was still there, I thought he had gone. I thought he had taken off. I heard his exhaust, swore he had taken off. So I started to roll on the throttle and give a little gas to the bike so that I could follow suit, right? Well, no. As soon as I turned my head around, I had, a split second to react, and I missed him. I missed hitting his back corner bumper is what I hit. I missed hitting him by about this much. The only reason why I hit him was because there wasn't enough space off to the side for me to completely go to his right side. There was a fucking curb. There was a thick curb, and I couldn't go because if I tried to go any further to the right, I would have hit the curb, and that would have, thrown the bike off balance, and I would have dumped the bike and just wrecked the heck out of the bike. So it was kind of playing that game of seeing if I could just, slam on my brakes when he slammed, right after he slammed on his brakes, and maneuver myself as close to the curb as I could, and hope that I don't hit him too bad. So that's what happened. Messed up, put a little bit of rubber marks, black tire marks, tread on the back end of his white bumper, and with a small little indentation, and then my hand, because I turned the wheel, the front wheel, the handlebars, to try to get out of the way, in that my left hand ended up like punching his rear tail light, and so I broke off a chunk of his tail light by doing that. So yeah, he just like massive brake checked me, essentially, is what he did. When there was no reason to, because he had plenty of open space to go. And he initially made movement to go, to get it onto the road. So I don't know what the heck, why he brake checked me. I don't know why he did that. But obviously I'm fine. And now the wife and I have matching burn marks on our legs because she goobered one night when we were out on the bike. She went to get her wallet and stuff out of the saddlebag that was on the side of the bike that the exhaust is on, and she let her leg bump up against the exhaust when it was still really hot. So, I'm not eating Pop-Tart. This is beef jerky, and it's the peppercorn one, so it's a little crumbly. But yeah. So now we got matching burn marks. So yeah, that's the story. That's it. See, it wasn't too long. It didn't take too long. I actually want to turn off my little boom box. I got one of these things. I got a rectangular one that's larger. That's much better quality speaker system. But I love it. They're both Bluetooth, but this one is great for just throwing in a bag and taking anywhere. Small enough, it's compact enough, and it still puts out a good amount of sound. And it plays for probably about 6 or 7 hours on a single charge. And what I love about this guy is it's got a micro SD card that you can throw a micro SD card in there. So you can, Bluetooth connect it, or you can play off the SD card, or you can do the auxiliary cable and hook up, whatever playing device you have to hook up via auxiliary cable. Really cool little boombox, wireless speaker thing. I forget who makes it. I don't know. I've got it on my Amazon. It's on my Amazon account. I should probably do a video, just a quick little 5-minute video clip on my two boom boxes that I love, that I like very, very much, because they're fun to have, nice to have. Yeah. But I got a package in the mail today. Finally showed up. No. From Javon. So, yeah. Javon sent me a knife. And if you've watched Javon's Friday Night Lives, you'll know what it is. There's a acid test kids. And what's up, ATK? How you doing, man? Lurking on the TV and chatting on the phone. Everybody say hey to ATK. Everybody say hey, what's up, man? So, yeah, I got a package from Javon from a giveaway that he did last Friday. So it only took a week. To get here. Let's see. I've got I haven't gotten to use this guy very much to on the channel. Haven't seen him very often, but the infamous Dalika is great. I'm the only one to do this with the stamped out number 9, rule number 9, on a little lanyard for the knife. But yeah, all right. Before I break into this, well, I'm gonna already cut it. See, watch, this knife cuts, even though it is what it is. It still cuts. Yeah. Gotta love this thing. This is too funny. Too funny. The plastic clip on it wiggles like a motherfucker. It shifts all over the damn place. I'm surprised they haven't broken it. But anyways, before we I show you, then pull out the knife, which some of y'all already might know what it is, what the knife is from the GAW, the giveaway. Obviously, I was not in that chat in the live there that night because I was trying to get to bed on the earlier side so that I could get up and leave at 5 o'clock in the freaking morning that Saturday to go whitewater kayaking in Columbus, Georgia, which is like a little over a 4-hour drive there and then back. And I spent a good 4 hours on the river or so. I was exhausted. I had a shit ton of fun. Really needed that weekend. Thank you, honey. I did do a little shout out on Instagram while I was up there. So if that curiosity gets you on that one, if you want to see what that part of the river looks like right there in that town, it's pretty cool. It's an urban whitewater river stretch that goes right along the town, right along the Georgia-Alabama border line. Yeah, we totally went to bed. We went to bed. We were in the bed. We just didn't go to sleep yet. We just didn't go to sleep quite yet. You know, my wife used to, at the beginning of our relationship, the first couple years, she was rather shy about our intimate life activities and experiences. She used to be extremely shy. She didn't like me talking about it. She didn't want to talk about it, except for her very, very close friends. And boy, have I ruined that because I'm an open book with that stuff. If you don't know that already, I don't give a shit. I will talk about it, and yeah, a little proud of it. We love each other. But all right, so I wanted to show y'all this little bit of last Friday night's Javon's Netflix Live, where he announced that I won, and I didn't know because I was in my bed. But I want to share this with y'all because I think it's freaking hilarious. So here we go. Y'all listen to this.
We've got 55 unique comments, and I've already hit it, so I'm going to miss the giveaway live, but it's rolling as we speak. And Urban Woodsman, 87.
Yeah,
The
that's the
man,
year I
the
was
myth, the
born.
legend, guys. That was legit. I just couldn't get it over quick enough. And I don't know if Urban's in here, but I know how to get in touch with him. And I know he'll be stoked to have won. And Maddie, I bet you he wouldn't mind the button lock. Are you in here, Urban Woodsman?
Nope, because I was asleep. I was supposed to be
Maddie,
asleep.
is he in here? Because if not, he won the button lock.
So wait till you hear what he says about me.
Congratulations, Urban. Are you in here, brother?
Yeah, he's gonna say this,
Because
and
we got another giveaway. Dude, I'm thinning out some knives. I don't think Urban's in here, but he won. And he's going to get, let's see.
so I don't know if he was being way too nice to me, or if this is legitimately how he feels. If you don't know
I would
Javon,
prefer the button lock if
he's
I was in his
really cool
position.
dude, super appreciative, and
It's a
like
harder
has
use
an
knife.
enormous respect for
Let's see.
people
Is he in
who
here?
deserve the respect.
Congratulations, Urban Woodland.
So that's my impression of him.
Yep.
He's a
Where
really,
is he?
really
Where is
sweet
he?
dude. Very, very kind-hearted.
I enjoyed hanging out with him at a Blade Show.
I did
He's
too.
always smiling. Him and God, I just blanked on the screen name. Not something I've seen. That's seems logical. Is hilarious. And another guy I met, Q1 Fiend, awesome dude.
I don't know who that is.
He's in the chat from time to time. Really clean cut guy, younger guy, super nice, super knowledgeable about knives. And then, have you ever seen Ethan's Ruins?
Yeah,
He's got a new
I'd
channel.
say
Dude, he is a little Asian guy who knows so much about knives, and his sense of humor is so dry, you don't even know he's making a funny, and you just can't take it. I'm not seeing Urban, but he's a winner, so I've got him down here.
All right, so yeah, there's that. So really cool that that I won on one of the few times I really try my hardest to make sure that I stop in and say hey to everybody on Javon's lives and listen to him for at least 30-40 minutes before I call it a night. But yeah, that was one of the few nights that I decided to cave in early to get some extra sleep, and I was still freaking exhausted. But so he sent me a really cool knife, which is and a crap ton of swag. Oh my gosh, dude. Javon, why are you sending? I already got like 4 or 5 of your stickers. Um, I think this is great with the cat holding the knife. It's so cool. And then him and with some shiny armor. Yeah, so I've got a couple of, but he said, look at how many of these he sent me. He sent me a whole bunch of these. The square ones are kind of cool. It's nice to not always have round, because yeah, sometimes with what you're putting them on, the square ends up just looking better on certain objects. But this is not the first time that I've won something from Javon. It's second time. First time it was a Kershaw with the Speed Safe Assist opening. I forget what the name of the Kershaw was, but I DSF KS or whatever it is. I don't keep up with acronyms anymore. I was in the military for so long. I don't do acronyms anymore. But I gave that knife to my wife's younger brother, who just finished up being somewhere that for a while he couldn't have something like a knife. So he's finally done with that chapter of his life, and which is a good thing. And so I decided that this dude needed a knife. He needed a knife. Rule number 9, right? So I figured that was a great knife for him, since it was a gift to me. Then I'm passing along to someone who needs it more than I do. And you know, was a solid Kershaw. I'm not personally a huge fan of Kershaws. Only own like 1 or 2 at this point, but they make good knives. Their launch series, their automatics are freaking top notch. Probably the best Kershaws are their automatics. Yeah, honey, I didn't want to blast that, but yeah, that's where he was. He was in prison. When he was real young, he was hanging out with the wrong people, the wrong crowd at the wrong time, and found himself in a situation that was not good, and he ended up, and all his buddies put the blame on him, and so he ended up going to jail. Not that he wasn't guilty for doing what he did, but the way it all went down was unjustly on his sake. I mean, he should have been with the people that he was with doing what they were doing. But yeah, I'm not going to say anything any more about that. So yeah, we're all very, very happy that he is done with that and gets a redo, a well-deserved redo. So I felt like it was very, very appropriate to pass that knife on to him, because all it did for me was hang out in my workshop and served as a package opener for all the tools and shit that I'd buy at Harbor Freight. So it was I was using it, but not very often, and so I felt like it was a good knife to pass along to him. So, and he was very appreciative of it. I also hooked him up with one of the Olight i3Ts. So he got a knife and a flashlight from me. Just set him off with the basics for EDC, right? So the Tucson that oh yeah, that's right. Tucson does numbers. They don't really do names. So this is what Javon sent me. This is a very nice Tucson. This is the first Tucson that I've actually ever handled. So that's why I was looking down, because I was kind of checking it out. It's a button lock, which is interesting. It's the button actually is kind of stout. It really, sits proud there on the side of the titanium bolstered area. But yeah, as far as the button locks go, no, I'm not really feeling any stick. You might need a drop of oil in there just to run smoothly, just a little more smoothly. But yeah, might put a drop of oil in there. It'll help it just a little bit. But yeah, This really cool. Tucson knives made in not gonna say that Yang Yangjiang, China. All right, but yeah, D2 blade steel, nice, fairly tall, flat grind. It's sharp. It's sharp. It's the TS338. I guess it's the model number. Javon talked about it. He did a little video for the giveaway part of it. So if you're curious about it, watch his video on it. But yeah, that's the way the button lock is done is extremely robust, which is interesting. But micarta feels good. That is micarta. Yeah, that is micarta. And milled pocket clip. So yeah, cool. Really cool. I'm gonna carry this guy for a while. Those are some big ass thumb studs. Some really gnarly, beefy thumb studs. Nice little clip point. Not too aggressive, but not shy either. That's a bold clip point. But yeah, cool knife. Cool knife. Feels good in hand. I love it's thick. It's wide. Backspacer, lanyard, doodaddy accessible deal. So yeah, cool knife. I do like the mill pocket clip, and it's interesting how where the pocket clip sits. Oh, it's got just a tiny little bit of wiggle there with pocket clip. I might be able to tighten that up, but where it sits right there, there's a screw underneath it, right there where it sits. So not going to mar up, which I don't think it would anyways with it being micarta. I think that's micarta, not G10. But yeah, so in and out of the pocket will be fine. There's you can't really tell with my camera on the computer here, but on the bolster here on this titanium, there is some very fine micro milling lines, just the diagonal lines being milled. Yeah, really cool knife. And so, oh, it looks like those thumb studs. You can position them onto any of these other holes. I mean, I would think that if you put them, I mean, it looks like it. I don't know. I don't know if you can. If you unscrew those, can you move them to the other holes? If you did, let's see. If you did, I could see moving it to the next one over, but not the last two, because I mean, it would interfere with the cutout there of the scales. But you could move it over to the other hole, to the next hole. That's interesting. I don't know if that changes the way it flicks open. Reverse flick would probably be where it would end up being more advantageous, being a little further down. But yeah, cool knife. Thank you, Javon. This is really, really nice. Really nice. Gotta love that about our community, passing around stuff. After you enjoy a knife for a little while, and then you want to, and then it kind of sits, and you realize, like, hey, somebody else would enjoy having this and using it for a little while. So yeah, I think I'm gonna hang on to it for maybe about 6 to 12 months, and then possibly pass it along to somebody else to enjoy. But yeah, cool. It'd be interesting carrying around Tucson. My biggest thing about Tucson, which this knife does not do, this is one of the few to where they do not blast their logo on the blade and on the grind part of the blade. I hate it when companies do that. O-Knife does that. And, it bothers me. It bothers me. I don't like, if you're going to put on the blade, fine. But if you're going to put on the blade, put it up here where it's flat. Don't put it on the grind where, using the knife is going to, with not much time, wear it away or mess it up and make it look bad, and then it becomes an eyesore. I don't wear clothes that I don't wear anything Nike because I'm totally against their company's business structure and political views and all. I don't like that company for a big handful of reasons. But yeah, I don't wear clothes that are branded with big, large emblems and logos and symbols and stuff. I don't like to be a walking billboard. I don't like my knives to be big walking billboards. I like clean cuts. I like simplicity. I like professionalism. I just don't like freaking billboarding. Massive, obnoxious billboarding that's especially going to on a tool end up looking bad and becoming an eyesore when you've been using the tool. So yeah, that's how I feel about that, just me personally. But yeah, I don't think this is a knife that my wife is going to gravitate towards. This is not exactly her speed, her jam. So it's at least safe from ending up in her pockets all the damn time. She has one knife that she favors. Even though she could, if she wanted to, look in my collection and pick one to carry for a day here or there. There's a lot that I'll say, no, you can't have that one. But there's a few that I'd be totally fine with her carrying every once in a while. I just recently sharpened her knife, her main knife. Took it all the way apart, cleaned every bit of it, gave it full spot treatment, and sharpened the heck out of it because she had a couple of little nicks on the edge. So it took a decent amount of sharpening to work 90% of those out. Minimize the two big ones. I was able to minimize to a point where they're not going to catch on anything, and it's going to be a perfectly well-performing edge again. I just kind of got tired of sharpening. And it took a while to clean out the thing because there's so much gunk, pocket lint, sand, whatever. The whole bunch of the knife was disgusting. So you're welcome, sweetheart. If she's still listening, she might have gotten busy again at work. But hey, there's Brand New American and Mimo. Hey, how are you? I do not have the petrified fish. Yeah, no, I don't have the Victor. What does the Victor look like? Let me pull that up. Petrified fish. Victor. Oh, that is you can't say it's the same. I actually wouldn't quite even say that it's similar to this guy. There's definitely enough differences. Let me share. Let me share, so that y'all can see what I'm seeing. There we go. So there's the petrified fish that that Mimo is talking about. Yeah, it's definitely different from this guy. Definitely different. Nowhere near the same. But I get where vibes this would make you think about that. Looks like a solid knife. I like petrified fish. My favorite petrified fish is the Scholar. I think he might be. He's in my jeans pocket right now, which is hanging up in the closet. I don't have them readily available, but I've got the petrified fish scholar with the wood scales, and it is sweet. The hollow grind on that sucker is awesome. I'll pull it up. Searchy. CHOLAR. I have the dark handled one. The dark wood is the one that I have. The bottom guy here. And yeah, the hollow grind on that sucker is fantastic. And I know a lot of people don't really like the squarish forward choil there. And I can see where you would think that it might be a little rough and don't like the edges on your finger. It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. I really like this knife. The wood scales on it are fantastic. They look clean, and it's tough stuff. Who makes that wood? Or not who makes it? What wood is that? Is it gonna tell me? Why won't it tell me? Where's the specs? Hand material. Yeah, the desert ironwood. Yeah, that's the ironwood. I've turned a small little bowl on my wood lathe with a chunk of ironwood from the swamps here in South Georgia. That shit is some really dense, really tough stuff. And if you get it in a wet air from a wet area, it's almost been petrified. I mean, that's just how dense and how hard of wood that stuff is. Like I couldn't go for more than 2 minutes before I had to stop and sharpen my chisels in order to shape the darn bowl out of the chunk of ironwood that I had. I really had to spend a lot of time sharpening my chisels in order to make something out of it. But yeah, really cool knife and a great price. Petrified Fish has a Viking. See, I'm not very familiar. That is one brand. As much as I like them and the couple of knives of theirs that I own, I do not know their full lineup as well as I probably should. There's the Viking. Okay, yeah. Is it not the upsweep on the blade shape is not my jam. Yeah, but it still a very useful blade shape, and the handle's money as far as ergos. Like that's gotta. I can just with how many knives that I've handled. That's a very comfortable handle shape. Very nice. Yeah, I dig it. Even though I'm not big on the blade shape. Oh, it's a full blown front flipper with a little bit of a groove there. Yeah, I bet some people could underfinger flick the shit out of that. Yeah, right. The blue looks good. Speaking of blue, oh man. Oh, speaking of blue, the how many of y'all have watched my latest video on the unboxing, or not really unboxing, just my video on this guy? Hold on, let me go back and bigify myself. All right, this guy, the Civivi Vision or Vision. If you haven't seen my video on this, I know it's a long one. It's like 17 minutes long. I did ramble quite a bit about it. But it's got I do some funny stuff in the video, but the handles on this were white, and you gotta watch the video and listen to me talk about the struggles that I had with what I was trying to do to these handles. This is dyed. This is actually like a mint green. I know my camera lighting doesn't really pick up the color of it all that well, but it is a mint green color. And I got that from using emerald green Rit dye, which is kind of a darkish blue green. Well, not super dark, but it's a solid. It's an emerald green. Let's see what I have another knife. Where's the knife that I dyed with the emerald green that came out? Well, I took. Did I do the emerald green? No, I didn't do the emerald green on my pinion. I don't know. I think it's the other knife drawer, the other knife block. But yeah. Anyways, oh yeah, I remember which knife. The Dapper. And he is right. Where's my Dapper? Oh, Dapper, 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 Dapper. Where are you at? Where's my Dapper? Where's the Dapper? There you are. Okay. So, the Vox Giant Mouse Dapper. This is what the emerald green does to my Carta on the Dapper, and that is, it's a dark emerald green, but it is definitely emerald green. Yeah, I went on the dark side with it, and it went to the dark side. Great little 5th pocket knife. I need to carry him again. I have not put him in my pocket. This thing needs to go. It's going in my pocket tomorrow. And maybe for a couple more days over the next handful through the weekend. This is a sweet little knife. Yeah, really, really cool knife. What's the blade steel? Italian M390. So it's a soft M390. Because that's how them Italians do it. But yeah, so white G10 in tan micarta, emerald green, red dye. And those are the differences. Like, not what I was expecting. But seriously, watch my video on this Vision. And as you can see, I got to put a different clip on it. But yeah, watch my video on this. It's funny. The photo of it that I put for the title photo for that video is pretty good too. Yeah. The main reason why I didn't get the Wii version of this knife, one, because of the price, but 2, because of the location of the pocket clip. That was a big no-go, I would say, for so many of us. So many of us were like, nope, don't want that knife because of the pocket clip. That was just a weird spot to put the pocket clip. Some people who got the knife and carried it said it's really not that bad. You kind of sit it in a certain way to where it rides just in the pocket just fine. It's really not as bad as you think it would be. But I don't know. In the ergos of it, I don't know. I didn't like the idea of the pocket clip being there on the spine. But yeah, here's the other petrified fish that I have. This guy and the Scholar are the only 2 petrified fish knives that I own. And I love this guy, the Mini Beluga. And it's got the a full filler, so you can reverse flick the crap out of it all day long. Good purchase on that for reverse flicking. So yeah, another sweet knife from Petrified Fish. Let's see the two knives. The next, well, I have 3 knives that I want to get. Let me pull up White Mountain Knives. There are 3 knives that I want to get, and September we are getting so freaking close. Oh, check this out. He just threw these up. Let me share. Share my screen. Boom. Check out these. We is starting to get really weird with some of their designs, and as far as futuristic, cyber looking. Check that out. Look at that blade. What the hell is going on? Look at the sweep there on the spine. You got the sweep there, and then you got the split for the compound grind, where I guess they really thin it out and bring that. Look at that transition. You basically got two transitions. You got the first transition of how high the flat grind goes from maybe like 70%, 65% up the blade to like 90% of the blade. So you have that, and then your next transition is the thickness of the blade. Like, whoa. And then you got this swoop there, and in that transition, and then you got another swoop in a different way there. And oh man, there's so many freaking angles on this thing. And then look at the handle. Holy moly, that is nuts. Let's see the clip side. Oh, I like the clip. The clip is good. That's a cool looking clip. The GTC, or GTC, I guess, is the designer's logo. Who is GTC? Oh no. The WE Solid. There's nothing solid about it. That is like wild. That is completely wild. I wouldn't call that solid. That's off the chain. 20 CV. Whole bunch of titanium. A crap ton of milling on it. Look at all those lines. That's and it's a big boy. 3.8-inch blade. Almost 9 inches overall. That's a 9-inch overall knife. That is no joke. A big boy. Big boy. All right, let's go back. Let me go. The one thing that I don't like about their website is how they start you off with like only seeing 12 to 15 knives at a time, and then you hit next, and it kind of almost starts over. Like it's a broken website the way that works. The Nefaris, interesting. Cool. There's the Kubey Monster Dog. The Monster Dog. Another set of massive thumb studs. There's y'all know who designed the Ruckus? Anybody know who designed the Ruckus? Who knows who designed the Kubey Ruckus? Don't make me have to click on it and zoom into the he doesn't have a picture for me to be able to show y'all. Anyways. There's the Titius, and it's dressed up milled titanium versions. The Vesperon looks pretty cool. Kind of a standard design. no thrills, but solid knife. He's struggling to get pictures up there. I wonder what my wife would think about having one of these. Her birthday's coming up. Her birthday's beginning of September. Yeah. So my wife's birthday's coming up, and I got a bunch of knives that I want to buy. But I gotta buy her. I gotta get her something for her birthday. This is not good timing. I'm telling you, not good timing at all. But yeah, I like the dark stonewash on that blade. I wonder if my wife would enjoy this knife. I think she might. It's her size. It's on the slim side, which she needs because of, a woman's pockets are not the biggest real estate. It's a 2.75. It's a 2 3/4 inch blade. So it's not super big. It's not super wide. It's not super long. It's like the right size for her. And it's got very neutral lines, very ergo friendly in the hand. I think she would like this knife. I might be getting this knife for her birthday. Maybe. I got a couple others that I'm looking at and thinking about. But yeah, she kind of has been hinting over the last month and a half that she would like to have more than just one knife as hers. It's her designated knife. Yeah, Dr. Drew, dude. That's exactly what that knife is. That we solid is a trans knife because there's so many transitions on it. But yeah. I'm in alive. Thank you. Go away. Love you. Glad you're home from school. Didn't stay there long enough. They came in the door fighting and arguing, as usual. Boys and girls in their early teenage years. There's some more Fenrirs coming out. So those will be dropping soon, I'm guessing, on White Mountain. This is an interesting. I don't really like it. It kind of looks a little funky, the dimensions and the lines on the Shikari, but I know that's a lot of people's vibe. A lot of people love that. Here's the Maxey Sandstorm. Whoa! Look at the compound grind on that blade. Holy moly! I don't do recurves. I cannot. They irritate me for whatever reason. It's not like I don't know how to sharpen them. I can sharpen them. I just don't like them. I don't like dealing with it. But the handle is sweet. The ergos on that look badass. Like if they had just put like a sheep's foot blade on there with a little bit of flair to it. Yeah, I like the handle a whole hell of a lot. The blade's not for me, but it's a wicked looking blade. It is a wicked looking blade for sure. This is the one that I want. This is one of the ones that I want. The Concept Tuckamore or Concept Tuckamore, however you want to say it. Yeah, very standard, slim, milled pocket clip. I like that. Not going to cause any hot spots. That is my blade shape. That is my jam when it comes to blade shapes. Y'all know that's what I like. Yeah. This guy I want. I want. I don't know when they're going to drop. But as of right now, he's not showing them in stock. He put up the photos, put up the post of them a couple of days ago, like 2 days ago, and I'm waiting to be notified. I'm checking it every day, at least 3 times a day. so that hopefully I don't miss out on getting one. I want the micarta one. I say that I would really love to have this one. I would really love to have this one. But I don't want to pay $224. And then I also thought it'd be really sweet to have this one. The colors on this one with that green carbon fiber, it's like a neon green carbon fiber. That looks sick. I really, really dig that. $207 though. $207. And supposedly you lose a little bit, like 1 to 1.5 HRC hardness points when you dark wash or dark coat a blade. Supposedly. I don't know for sure. I've not really had any. My Miguron what's the name of this damn knife again? Curex, my Miguron Curex. That I don't have any issues. It's M390 and I have yet to sharpen it, and I have used I've stropped it once. My Sidious by Orion Knives, this guy I've yet to sharpen. I don't think I've even stropped it, and it's actually even cut a couple of slim zip ties, so it's taking care of zip ties. The Finch Shiv, which is 14C28N, haven't done nothing to it, and I've murdered boxes with it. I haven't even sharpened it. It'll still take hair off my arm. Same thing with this what's the name of this guy? I forget the name of this one. I'd have to look it up again. But it's got a black coated blade. The Devo Stout that I have is a black washed blade. Again, never sharpened it, only stropped it. Razor freaking sharp, hair shaving sharp. So I don't know. I don't. Wherever Kevin himself is actually who I heard that from about the. This irritates me. Who else gets irritated with necklaces where the clasp rolls around and ends up being down at the bottom? Hate that. But yeah, the Concept Tuckamore, which I think is kind of a bit of a funny name. I like it. I'm going to plan to get the brown micarta one because it's on $180, and that's and then 10% off of that. So awesome price point for it for 20 CV. I'm gonna get this guy and darken up the micarta. Don't know what color. Probably just go with a gray, dark gray, graphite gray, or black. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go with that one. So that's one of the ones that I want. And then the other guy that I really want is this one, the Max Ace Meerkat, which I love the name. S90V. And Max Ace does so good with their S90V. From what I've heard. I haven't had one, but from what I heard. I like the minimal, the short. That's a short pocket clip. It's not a very big knife. It's actually, its full size blade length is 3.15. Overall is 7. He's only got the one picture of it. it makes me think of, as far as the design goes, it makes me think of, oh, what's the designer's name that is so good with smaller knives that have unbelievably good ergos. Oh, what's his name? The guy, not Ray Laconico. Hold on, be right back. Y'all put your pocket thumbs. Ooh, do, 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 do. Ah! I dropped a knife. Oh. Justin Lundquist. Yeah, Mr. Cuvist knives. Here's the Lumi. Yeah, he makes me think. The design of this, the lines and the size, it makes me think of most of Justin Lundquist's designs, his smaller knives, and how he just does an unbelievably good job in doing. I've got another couple of his knives that are also small that are just have amazing ergos for their size. Amazing ergos for how small a knives that they are. Where's another one? Boom, 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 boom. That's not just one. Yeah, the Feist. The Feist is probably the biggest one of his that is just, and there's a Feist XL now. Did y'all know that? There's an XL Feist. But yeah, the Feist, before he did the Lumi, yeah, he's just a lot of small knives that he does just have, just unbelievable what he can do with so little real estate in a knife design. Really love the way he does things with all his knife designs. But this Max Ace Meerkat makes me think of him and his abilities. Like this, just for being what it is. I don't know. I want this knife. This looks like a really, really sweet knife. I really dig it. He's only got the one picture, and it's the picture. Well, at least it's the picture of the side of it with the clip, so you know what the clip looks like. But yeah, excited for this one. Can't wait for this one to drop too. But then, obviously, the third knife that I'm totally hyped up for. What is it? What is the knife that supposedly is coming out sometime in September that I have been dying to get one? And can anybody guess? Can anybody guess? I'll give y'all a few minutes. Can y'all guess what knife that's coming out in September? Dang, Ross. It's not lame, man. It's not lame. Oh, I want it. I'm so excited to be able to order it and get one in my hands. Do you know the name of the OTF? You know who makes it? Do you? Do you? Huh? Do you? Oh. Yeah, see, here's the Vision that I ordered. and it's white handle scales. And I dyed this thing so many different colors and was never happy with the result of the color. It made me mad. I feel like I wasted at least 4 or 5 hours trying, at least 4 or 5 hours trying to figure out how to get a color that I wanted. The Pulse, yes, Dang Ross, you are correct, sir. The Pulse, the EMP EDC Pulse OTF. Did you know, if you didn't know, EMP EDC, their first knife was an OTF. I forget the name of the darn thing. But yeah, so that's an interesting fact. I can't wait to get a Pulse. I fell in love with that thing at Blade Show. ATK, I actually have on my channel a video of the super dangerous chemical concoction that I make in order to bleach and remove as much of the existing color out of a scale when I buy a knife that I intend to dye the scales. Yeah, I have a nasty concoction that that I make up, and oh man, it's gotten so many hits because when you mix certain chemicals together, you have to be super careful what you mix, and you know, then you wish you paid a little more attention in chemistry class, right? But the mixture that I make, because you should really never mix cleaning vinegar and bleach together. But the Walmart cleaning vinegar is a very diluted vinegar. It's actually got enough water in it. And so when you mix cleaning vinegar with bleach, with standard bleach, you create something that is very toxic and could burn your lungs when you inhale it, and make you super lightheaded. You could even pass out. So you're not really supposed to mix those two chemicals. But when you mix those two in a diluted solution with water and rubbing alcohol, which is only 70% alcohol, and then hydrogen peroxide, that is my mixture, my ingredient mixture. And because the joining of the vinegar and the chloride is so diluted by the other ingredients, it ends up not becoming as toxic as it would if you just mix those two ingredients by themselves. So, yeah. You still make sure that it's in a well-ventilated area, and I don't stick my face or my nose over the mixture when I'm using it to clean up and brighten up the scales and prep them for their RIT dye bath. And the RIT dye bath is really literally just your synthetic RIT dye, whatever color you want, mixed with a little bit of, in theory, your distilled water is the best for your RIT dye for coloring. You just get a cleaner, more pure result of the color adhering to the material of the scales. If you don't have the distilled water, then filtered water, not tap water, but at minimum filtered water. And I say filtered water as in not bottled Fuji water. They put additives and stuff. I mean, like filtered, like from a filter that you've got with your refrigerator, or if you've got one of those filters that screws onto your kitchen sink and it filters the water that way. or if you got the house filter, just whatever, just a normal filtered water mix, and you put about 20% water to 70 to 80% of the RIT dye, and then you heat it up. You pretty much, most people will say that you should have a stainless steel pot that's designated as your dyeing pot, that you would then bring your RIT dye mix to a steamy boil, just a soft boil, and then you drop the scales in it and turn the stove down to low, to the lowest heating setting, for anywhere between 5 minutes to 45 minutes. Some people leave them in for an hour. Just, it depends. That depends how long you leave it in. The super hot RIT dye mixture depends on the materials of the scale and how well that material is taking the color from the RIT dye concoction. And then you take them out. You dunk them in cold water. It doesn't have to be freezing cold water, just cold water. You just dunk them in cold water to get whatever RIT dye is still on the outside of the scales off of it. And then you lay them on a towel, on a paper towel, and let them dry. Naturally let them dry. Some people like to pat dry them first and then let them air dry the rest of the way. Arguably, if you're pat drying them, you could smudge some of the coloring on the outer layer of the scale material. So it's arguable whether or not you should do that, or if just after dunking them in the water, lay them on the towel and just let them air dry naturally, so that your color is as even and crisp as possible. My experience, again, micarta is probably the best material to RIT dye, because it's fabric. With less, micarta seems to have, at least the micarta that I buy, the textured micarta that doesn't have a heavy amount of epoxy resin in it and glue in it. When you get scales that have quite a bit of the glue, of the epoxy, then they seem to not want to take the color as well. Because, I mean, RIT dye is essentially, it was meant for dyeing fabrics, dyeing clothing, dyeing fabrics. So it wasn't so much in mind for dyeing knife scales. So, yeah, that's how I do my. I first do the cleaning bath in order to prep it, to take as much existing color out of the scale as possible, and loosen up the outer bit of the material of the scales, and so that whatever color of RIT dye that I'm going to use on it can sink and really get soaked in by the scales as much as possible. So you're going to purple your Tidius. Have fun with that. But yeah, I did a whole video on my front of the channel on doing that prepping bath in order to brighten and remove some of the color and loosen up the material of the scale before you RIT dye it. And I got so many people who commented. I got rid of most of them because they were just being Karens about it, and didn't quite understand that I know science and I know my chemistry a lot better than most of them. Because I do research. I do the research. I kind of felt like it was important to make sure that what I was doing was not going to either hurt me terribly irreversibly or blow up the house. So, yeah, I'm very much, even though I do crazy shit, safety is paramount, and I make sure that I do my insane stuff as safely as possible with safety in mind. I don't want to die. I just want to live a fun, full life. So, what else did I want to talk about today? Obviously, today's carry for me was that guy in with my minty fresh green scales. I actually like it. I think that color works very well. I like it better than having the white. I'm not a fan of the white. And then I carried this guy. The BRS Evolve Fulcrum, I believe is the name of this. It's a mouthful. I got this guy at Blade Show. And it's S35VN. Nice little Wharncliffe blade. Fantastic box cutter. Like, I just love using this at work to open up boxes and break down boxes. He's just so fucking... He's a tank with that. He's a workhorse. And with the lanyard, with my little Olight Damascus-y looking bead there, it gives me plenty of purchase with the pinky to make this feel almost like it's a full 4-fingered knife. Really, really like this guy. Really nice knife. And they did good with the heat treat. Like I said, I've not sharpened it and not even stropped it. I haven't even stropped this thing, and it still takes hair off my arm. And I've had it since Blade Show, and used the heck out of it since Blade Show. So, really, really good knife. And I think I want to say I only paid like $65 for it at Blade Show, which is nuts. They told me when I asked how much it was, and they told me that, I was like, oh, hell. S35 for $65 with titanium? Like, I couldn't say no. I had to. That's like such a good deal for such a useful knife. With those materials, like, how could you? I couldn't say no. I had to buy it. But look who had a Grant gripper. Very nice. I do that a lot too, Dang Ross. I carry. What I do is I pick 2 knives to put in my pair of pants, and they'll stay in that pair of pants for at least 2 days. What I happen to do is I'll have a pair of shorts and a pair of pants and my gym shorts and occasionally sometimes a third pair of pants, and those 3 to 4 sets of bottoms I wear interchangeably for 5 or 6 days straight. each my evening attire is the gym shorts, and then the between the pair of jeans or long pants and the shorts, those get mixed up a little bit throughout the week for about 4 or 5 days, and then I'll get a new set of everything. Because realistically, I'm only wearing them for about 6 or 7 hours out of about 7 hours out of the day. I've got either the pair of shorts or the pair of long pants on for about 7.5 hours out of the day, and then the rest of the day I'm in the gym shorts. And I always take plenty of showers, so. But yeah. Just casually admitting to walking around with swamp ass for the whole week. No, I take plenty of showers. The underwear gets changed every day. I have that too. I have literally like 9 pairs of shorts that are well, I have a few more than that. There's primarily 9 pairs of shorts that I wear during the summertime, and out of those 9, 6 of them are the same brand, and then the other 2 are of 2 or 3 are of another brand. Yeah. But anyways, and I've got like 2 of them are black, 2 of them are gray, 2 of them are khakis, 1 or 2 of them are blue. Like, just but they're the same style, basically the same shorts. I've just got a whole bunch of them. And then with my blue jeans are all out of the 6 pairs of blue jeans that I have, 4 of them are the exact same pair of blue jeans, the exact same brand, exact same color to them. So yeah, four of my 6 blue jeans that I wear are exactly the same. So it's like nobody's gonna know the difference. And then my other dozen pairs of long pants are a mixture of 2 colors and 2 different companies. So yeah, I have a lot of doubles, triples, quadruples of the exact same style of pant or shorts. And so they're all interchangeably worn. And I don't know if anybody really pays attention to or suspects that I'm wearing the same clothes day after day after day after day, but I'm not. I am not. I would never do that. That's gross. That's disgusting. I'm a clean person. All right. I may look a little rough around the edges on some days, but I'm still a clean person. And I don't hardly ever get sick. The kids got to bring home some nasty shit for me to get sick. And they all go through it. And then I finally get a light version of it. Usually. But yeah. Good. I'm glad you're carrying that, dude. Yeah, I enjoy mine too. Mine's he gets toted around a lot too. What did you end up ATK? What did you end up putting? Oh, you put the Bic in the last spot in the pouch. Did it fit? The Bic fit in there? I guess it would. Okay, sweet. So if you instead of the let me get rid of that freaking. So instead of the pen, you put the Bic lighter. That's cool. Sweet. Good deal. Yeah, I love this style of a pouch, and the size of it is great. And the fact that you can set up a trio like that is wonderful. Yeah, I love this thing. These are super similar, super similar, almost identical size wise, but they're super similar to the pouches on EMP EDC. The Sherry. Yeah, so Adam Gear. These pouches right here. Almost identical in size. They're just the pockets on the one side. You just have 2 wider pockets instead of 3. sleeves to put stuff in. And then you got the Velcro on the other side and the zipper and the little tabs on each end. So yeah, very similar. Pouches. But yeah. Oh, I can't wait for the Pulse OTF. I can't wait. I can't wait. And I would love for them to do a Wharncliffe or Sheep's Foot blade on the Ronin. How awesome would that be? It almost it bothers me that Tonto's blade shape bothers me. I guess because I contribute it to all the years that I spent in the Navy, in the military, and around the military so much that just the Tonto blade shape makes me think about the military. And I forget who made it. I want to say it was, it might have been a Smith & Wesson knife that I had with the Tonto blade that somebody gave me, and it was awful. It was terrible. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. So I don't know if that's partially what ruined it for me to why I shy away from Tonto blade shapes. I do have a Tonto blade here. I do have a Tonto blade. It is the Civivi Thug. So I do have a Tonto blade. I really don't carry this guy. I got it because it was like really cool, and yeah, it's a really sweet knife. Love the design. Love the ergos on it. So it's a 3-finger knife, really. I really, if I choke up on it, that's a little, yeah. So it's pretty much a 3-finger knife. But I got this, and the photo that I took of it with my son's stuffed animal teddy bear, all gangstered out like a thug, I had fun with that. That was a fun little photo shoot. Made a really good photo with it. But and I red-dyed this guy a light blue, but the scale is green, so you can see the green in there. But overall, it's blue. It's a light blue, like a sky blue. But when you look, when I hold it up close to the camera, you can see the green in there, the original green scale a little bit. Yeah, can you? But it's to the human eye, you really just see the blue, the light blue, which kind of gives it a neat effect. But yeah, this is a really good knife. I don't know why I don't carry it. Probably because of the fact that it has that Tonto blade. But it's a sweet Tonto with it being a compound grind like that. It's gnarly. So that's cool, ATK, that you carry and use that pouch. That's great. I'm glad it is useful for you as it is for me. That was the goal, was to set somebody up with something nice like that. And they're cheap. They were only like, I think I paid like $16 for 2 of those pouches. For 2 of them. I did a video on it, and I got the link in the description part for the video. So if you're interested in one of those pouches, you can get 2 of them off of Amazon for like less than $16. 2 of them. But I need to order another set of them for my giveaway, because I am currently at it's a roundabout way of going to my channel. I am currently sitting at 993 subscribers. So, like I keep saying, if I hit 1,000, when I hit 1,000, and if I can keep that 1,000 for at least a month straight and not dip back down below 1,000, if I have 1,000 or more for at least a month, then I will do a 1,000 subscriber giveaway live where I've got at least 4, if not 5 giveaway packages set up. Like some good stuff. I've been collecting things, cool things. I got a whole bunch of Olights. I got a handful of knives. I got some patches and plenty of stickers. I've got some good stuff for that live giveaway, and I'm excited for it. So tell your friends. tell them, let them know. Tell your friends that they need to sub to Urban Woodsman 87 to get me to 1,000 and keep me at 1,000 for a month, so I can do this really fun, really. Oh, it's gonna be. Who here's been to Eonan's Edge? Have y'all been on his Christmas giveaway live last Christmas? That was epic. That was awesome. That is my goal for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway live, is for it to be freaking Christmas. Like, I just want to hook a handful of people up with some good stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for it because I love hooking up people with useful stuff, with good stuff. So yeah, 993 right now. So we're close. We're very close. I'm very, very close. Again, not in a hurry, but now that we're getting that close, I'm getting excited. It's hard to not get excited. So, yep, 7 subs away. But there's my video. Y'all see the photo for it? Isn't that great? I let the wife paint my toenails blue. They're still blue. She painted them like I want to say Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night. Yeah, and I've still got them. Still blue. That was a fun. If you look here all the way to the right, or yeah, the one on the Finch Shiv. I literally walked into a shop in town here that has it's Sally's Cop Shop is the name of the store, and asked them if I could borrow some of their stuff as props for this photo. That's what I did. I just went in there and just like, hey, can I use a couple of this shit to post up a photo, to do a photo with the Finch Shiv? So yeah, that was kind of interesting. The ladies in there looked at me like I was crazy, but it was good. And then I made crepes. If you've never had a crepe, it's a fancy flattened sweet version of a pancake, sort of. It's probably the best way that I can and will describe it. So yeah, and then I rambled a lot about the mayhem and how that ordeal went down. Gave my thoughts on that. So yeah, that's a good video. And then also another recent video is little Suburban, getting his first motorcycle helmet. And every day he gets picked up in the carpool lane on the motorcycle, and it earns him so much street cred. Like, everybody's like, whoa, cool motorcycle, Riley gets to ride a motorcycle. He loves it. I love it. I love that he loves it. I love that, it gives him cool points at the school, both with the kids and the teachers. So, yeah, been having fun. Been doing good stuff. Yeah, here's the pocket pouch. It ended up being a very long video because I was showing off a lot of different things that'll fit in those sleeves, what will and what won't work, and it took a lot of time to go through all that. Oh, Dopey, are you still here? Please tell me you're still here. Yes. So here is the current status. I almost spilt my beer again because I don't have enough space around me at my crammed corner desk to I don't have enough space to set stuff. I got too much shit. Here's the current status of your bowl, sir. Mr. Dopey, sir. Yeah, so it's on the mounting block for me to be able to finish the middle and get the right gauge thickness throughout the bowl part. This is actually this piece, and you can see all the shiny, liquidy looking stuff. That's epoxy. It's drying. This is the other half of the chunk of wood that Maddie's bowl was made from. So Maddie's bowl and your bowl are twinsies. They're twinsies. So you two are going to share the same piece of wood. There's a joke there. I'm not going to say it. But y'all are going to share the same piece of wood between your bowls. Between your bowls. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. So yeah, so when I first was making the shape, the general bowl shape of this, there's quite a few holes, and so I filled all the holes with the epoxy, and then so now I've got to mount this back up on the lathe and go back and finish carving the final shape of the bowl, and the epoxy goo will go away, and you'll just see clear through the spaces of the wood because the epoxy is clear. So it'll end up being a pretty sweet little bowl. Very, very similar to the size and shape of Maddie's because it's from the same chunk of wood. So yeah, that's the status. It'll get knocked out and finalized this weekend, and it will get into the mail sometime next week. I know you're not in a hurry. I know you're being patient, and I appreciate that because it's taking longer because of the complications that have arisen. But yeah. You do that too? You got a wood lathe? Yeah, it is satisfying. I don't know if this is how it is for you, Dang Ross, but for me, what's so awesome, what's so joyful about being on a wood lathe is that you can take a beautiful piece of wood, throw it up on there with an idea in your mind from the get-go of what you want to make out of it. And then, like, more than 70% of the time, it becomes something totally different. Just like as you're working, as you're taking away material, and as you're seeing like different features in the grain of whatever piece of the wood is, just my mind goes, the mind is turning. It's therapeutic, but at the same time, my brain is going 1,000 miles an hour and developing and just like thinking about, well, if I did this, if I made that part like that, then instead of making a bowl, it could end up being a chalice, or it could be or instead of a chalice, it would look better as a vase, because then this feature in the wood would get accented in this way and look really cool. Like I'm constantly thinking about all of that as I'm turning, as I'm taking away material, and so then you're like, I mean, when you're talking about making art, that's what the wood lathe is. Like, you are truly, a painter picks up his brushes and his paints, and he chooses his paints in his color spectrum, and he has an idea, and he goes and he throws that out onto the canvas per se, and then he adds little things into it to improve upon it, or bring another aspect to it. But the initial painting is still there from the get-go. When you turn something on a lathe, it doesn't work like that. It's not like that at all. You're not building. You're totally going in different directions in the moment as you feel it. And that is just, it's really cool about it. That's what's really cool to me about a wood lathe, and turning something on the lathe like that. I like building custom furniture, like my bed frame, my nightstand, like my coffee tables and end tables, and my hall tree that I have. I've got lots of furniture around my house that is all stuff that I made. And they're all custom designed to fit where they fit, and hold what they hold, and have their more specific purpose for my life, for my household. And you can't buy furniture like that. You have to build it. And so I like making custom furniture for my life, for my home, that fits my needs very specifically, because that's a whole lot better than having to work with something that you bought from a store. Ross, I do string. I don't stream. I record. I have just about everybody's. I haven't done. I decided not to do a video on making dopies, just because I felt like it would be almost identical to when I made Maddie's, because one, it's the same piece of wood. Two, it's almost exactly the same bowl shape, super similar bowl shape. So I just felt like there was too much redundancy with that. But I did the video on turning and making Stevie's tobacco pipe, and I did Eonan's cup that I made him with the crayons. That's a funny video. The other thing that I made, the change chalice or candy chalice that I made for the guy that rented his home to us for our 4th of July vacation stay up in the North Georgia mountains. That's on a video. So I've done a handful, and that's, if you go to my channel and you go to playlists, you got my Blade Show countdown, you got my wood creations, and you have my motorcycle gear mods, riding Tales of Glory. That's just what I titled it. But you go to my wood creations, and I've got, The Joy of Turning a Bowl, Travel Size Drink and Smoke Tray, the Man Block, Grumpy's Wood Turned Gift, which is a bowl with lid, Eonan's Cup, Stevie's Said Box, bowl / rounded box with lid, the little coffee scoop that I made for our coffee stuff, the tobacco pipe, Stevie's tobacco pipe, and the changed chalice that I made, which came out really nice. I was really happy with the design of that one.
Okay.
So So yeah, I have this chalice, this little guy that I made years ago. But yeah, there's the little change chalice that I made, and it's out of the dark walnut. It came out really nice. I really liked the design. I would actually love to make another one. Try to make one identical to it. It just works really good as a little change chalice, or as I displayed it here in this dude's cabin with some treats with some candy in it. Yeah, it worked out really well that way. Yeah, here it is with better lighting. This cabin's kind of dark in the bedroom. But yeah, really, I had a lot of fun making that one. That was a nice piece. But yeah, so I've got that. That's one part of my channel. So if you're curious about that, what lathe do I use? The lathe that I use is a really shitty one. is not a good one. I would not recommend it. It is one from Harbor Freight. It's their smallest one, which I don't know if they really even sell anymore. Yeah, they don't even sell the little one anymore that I have. And there's a couple of reasons why. Yeah, there's a couple of reasons why. Let me see if they got it. It looks almost identical to this guy. And if anything, for the price, I would rather recommend you go with so there's mine, me working on that with mine. So that's what mine currently looks like. The turn knob got all broken and mashed up, so that's done for. The tool rest got cracked. It was casted steel, and with a very soft, poor casting job, so it cracked. So I had to buy a new tool rest set, and I've had headaches with this thing, but I got it when I got it. Oh, I've had that thing for almost a decade. When I got it, it was probably around $140, so it was like really cheap. My recommendation is to get a variable speed. If you're ever gonna go into a store and buy a wood lathe, get one that has variable speed. I've got my drill press has the belt that I've got to change, the belt position in order to change the speed. And that's annoying enough as it is. I can't imagine how frustrating I would get if my wood turning lathe had a belt that I had to stop and adjust the belt in order to get a different speed. That would be, for me, that would really, really aggravate me. I would hate it. So I would, from the get-go, I was like, I'm not doing a multiple speed lathe. I want a variable speed. I want the little knob that increases or decreases just by me turning this little fingery knob. There's just so much more ease, and it's more satisfying to not have to stop and take the time to do all that. No, is really not that big of a deal, and you can do it pretty quickly. I just don't like the fact that I'd have to do it. I'd rather have a variable speed. So let me share. This guy. This guy is almost identical. It's pretty much identical to the Harbor Freight one that I bought, which Harbor Freight doesn't sell anymore. So it's got all the way on the left your on and off and safety lock pin. And then you got your little round knob up there on the top. That's your variable speed control. Then you've got the plate there to mount the material, the wood onto, and or it also comes with the little toothed guy that can be mashed, and you just sandwich the wood between those two little teeth-looking pointy needled doodads. I don't know the names of them. I don't know the names of the parts of these wood lathes. I just know how to use one and how to make shit with it. I do know that that's your tool rest. But yeah, you see the round plasticky rubbery type knob that's there? Mine got ruined rather quickly. It was just made so cheap. But yeah, so like a lot of Harbor Freight's electric motored tools, the horsepower, the amount of torque on the lower end ones, on the lower quality ones, the smaller and less expensive electric motor tools doesn't have enough power for doing what I want to be able to do with it. So normally this is the kind of lathe that you would get if you wanted to turn pins. You want to make pins and just handles, basic, just small handles and really tiny, like little change bowls and stuff like. They're not made to do big old vases. They're not made to do massive platters. The lathe's not big enough to fit that much material onto it. But two, just the motor's not got enough power to, even when the back piece, like in this photo, how he's fully out, fully extended. I think you got like 14 or 16 inches of working space between when you max it out in length, which is not even nowhere near close enough to do spindled type items. It's just for making like handles for your chisels, chisel handles, or screwdriver handles, that kind of thing. Baseball, like souvenir baseball bats, your miniature little baseball bats. You can do that on it, but it's not made for doing a big freaking vase, just a massive chunk of wood on that. Just the motor is not cut out for it. I've made things as large as possible that this lathe could handle, and it could barely handle it. Like, I was nervous I was going to break the lathe, that I was going to burn out the motor and destroy the motor. So, yeah, it's just a little guy. I would love to have a bigger lathe. I just don't have anywhere to put it. It's my workshop is only so big. It's a 12 by 20 building. The garage has trailer, gazillion bicycles. I got a workbench and some tools that are mostly just for, dealing with cars and the motorcycle and bicycles, that kind of stuff, and a couple of things for, putting up picture frames and whatnot in the house. But all my building construction type tools, my large tools, my massive tools, bulk of tools is out in that workshop, which is just a 12 by 20 building. And just I mean, I wish I could have fit a larger. I was limited in my space between where the side of the house was, and my fence, my fence between me and my neighbor on that side of the house. There was only so much space to fit a workshop between, and I really couldn't go bigger than a 12-foot wide one. And I mean, I could have gone like a 26-foot, or I would have even been able to fit a 30-foot long shed out there. But I think with the shed company that I bought it from, once you went 30 long or more than 20 feet long, they were more than 14 feet wide, and I couldn't do the 14-foot width. So that kind of sucked. But it works, and and I've made it work. I don't have enough space to have a larger lathe as much as I want one. My dad has a massive lathe. He's got a really big lathe, a very, very nice lathe. Like he could put a log on there. He could put like a third of a tree on. No, it's I think he can do a diameter of up to like 24 or 30 inches. I think he can do a 30-inch diameter. Yeah, he can definitely do a 30-inch diameter. And then he can do anything that's up to, I think like 4.5, like 50 or 52 inches long. Yeah, it's a big lathe. Here. He made my dad did this platter, little tray platter thing, and the diameter of it is, the outside measurement is 9. It's almost 9.5. Yeah, it's 9 and it's just a shy over 9.25. So yeah, he made this, and actually when he made this guy 15 years ago, in 07. Yeah, he made this guy in 2007. This was on not the lathe that he has now, but the lathe he had before the one that he has now, which was a little bit smaller. Still way bigger than the lathe. Your dad has a bigger lathe than your dad. Yeah, my dad never. I mean, he didn't want to turn coffee tables on it. I think he can do 30 or maybe even 36-inch diameter piece of wood. And I know he can do something that's more than 4 foot long. Not much more than 4 foot long, but about 4 foot long. And that's a big piece of wood. You're talking like an 80-pound log right there. Up on that. You know? So yeah, 80, 90-pound log. And you're spinning it at about 4,000, 5,000 RPMs at one point or another. Yeah. Yeah, that's when you get to large lathes and really large pieces, that shit gets scary. That shit gets really scary. Like if a 60 to 75-pound piece of wood comes flying off of that lathe at you and you're standing in the way, ooh, that's a trip to the hospital. No, thank you. No, thank you, man. Oh, I could not do that. Yeah, you're like me, Todd. You just not enough size, not enough space. For larger and bigger. Neil, your workshop is your coffee table. I love it. I have been there. We all start there. And whenever we start with, like the day you remember, do you remember the day you got your first wrench set? The day you got your first drill, your cordless drill, your battery powered drill, your first battery powered drill. The first time you got your set of screwdrivers even, but you socket. Oh, when I picked up my first set of deep socket sets, your deep socket set. Oh, I was so happy. Uh, I went way. You always when you get a new set of tools that makes certain jobs so much more feasible to accomplish. Damn, do you get mad at yourself for having not gotten it sooner? You really do. Every single time. It's like, why the hell didn't I buy this 5 years ago? There's so many projects, so many things that I've built that this would have came in handy so much, made the job so much easier. And you end up getting mad at yourself a little bit. And most of us, I would say most of us get our first sets of tools and our first toolkits and stuff from our parents or from our grandparents. That's typically what happens. Yeah. And it's and out of those circumstances, half of the time it's hand downs. It's not a new set of tools. It's an old, beat up, used set of tools that you probably used when you were 5 years old, right? Oh, but yeah, man, it is. This morning I was like, and yesterday I was thinking, I was like, I got a live to do on Friday afternoon. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I don't even know what to do for my life. I actually considered canceling it this morning just because I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to talk about, and I didn't want to bore you guys. Yeah, I thought about canceling it and skipping this Friday, but thanks to Javon's package coming in the mail and picking up this guy, being able to unbox it in front of y'all, and yeah, just what happened yesterday with the motorcycle. I figured, yeah, I better do that. I can at least talk about those things. Can at least do that. So, a balcony on the 10th floor of an apartment building. Only sanded on really windy days. Yeah, it's really windy days. You're killing me, man. You're killing me. So this Win is the brand mini benchtop wood lathe. It's pretty good. It's actually these days, that's a really good deal for with inflation. For $260, you can get your lathe and a 6-piece chisel set. That will get you started with a lot of things. Pretty much everything that I've ever cranked out on a lathe. I do have, and again, this chisel set is going to be your basic chisel set. I doubt that they're high-speed chisels, tempered. Oh, no, they are. It's HSS. Oh, okay. This actually looks like a pretty decent, pretty solid set. Wow. Okay. The one that I bought from Harbor Freight kind of sucks. I've actually bent some of mine and had to bend them back over and over again. I only have one really, really nice chisel that I favor because it's one that my dad gave me that is a high speed, very tough chisel tool. It sharpens nicely, it holds its edge for way longer than all my other chisels. Um, but yeah, this actually looks like a really nice chisel set. That's your core for most of your wood turning projects. Those are the chisels that you'll use and need. Yeah, but if you want something just a hair bit nicer or just as nice, your Jet lathe. Jet makes a pretty solid lathe for the price. Yeah, if I was going to get a new one, um, it I might end up going with a Jet. But I'm trying to hold out to the next home that I live in will have either one of two things will happen. Either it'll have a third garage bay that will be my workshop, which will end up giving me closer to a an 18 by 26 foot space, or I will have a workshop off to the side of the house that will be much, much larger. A lot of people like this setup for your chisels, to get your carbide tipped chisels, where you're changing the bit out at the end of it. That way you can do more projects faster and spend less time sharpening. I've never had one of these reach around and to get inside if you're turning an urn or something, a gourd style piece where you need that curved arm. But yeah, these are cool. I'd like to get a chisel set of these and see how much I like that. That's kind of neat. I like that. I don't know if I, would favor those or not, or stick with the traditional. But Jet makes a decent lathe. Um, the Win is a fairly good deal. They didn't used to be. They used to be garbage. The Wins used to not be not very good. Uh, I don't know. What other lathe recommendations would you have? Yeah, I agree with you there. It can be. It can if see, I didn't know because even though my dad had his wood lathe when I was in high school before I went into the Navy, I never asked him to teach me how to use it and let me turn something on it. I never asked him. I could have. I should have. I don't know why I didn't. I just, for whatever reason, I wasn't that interested in knowing. And he was kind of new to it and was having a lot of fun and learning. And so I didn't want to interrupt that or have him have to put a pause on his own self-discovery. I didn't want to interfere with that, so I guess I never asked him. So when I got out of the Navy and had a whole bunch of free time because I was just going to college, it wasn't working because I had my GI Bill and my pension. So between all that, I was fortunate enough to not need to work any kind of a job during those 3.5 years, while I knocked out my college degree. But So and then I had, garage space, made garage space to have some sort of an actual workshop in my garage. And so that's when I bought the little wood lathe that I still have, that I've been using all these years. And so again, I wanted to get into it with not knowing whether or not I was going to stick with it, not knowing whether or not I was going to enjoy it, whether I was going to be any good at it, or if I was going to end up hating it. So because of that, I cautiously went on the cheap end, for one. And then two, didn't have a whole lot of money to spend on it to getting into it at the time. And I had at the same time bought whitewater kayaks, and I was buying a bunch of brand new backpacking gear, ultralight and lightweight camping gear and backpacking gear. So my money was really stretched then, because I was diving myself back into all these old hobbies and finding a few new ones. Because that was after I had gotten divorced and after I had gotten out of the Navy. So I really felt free to just do what I wanted. So that's what I did. So yeah, I went on the cheap. And so yeah, definitely buy once, cry once piece of equipment as far as a wood lathe goes. If you're for sure set on wanting to do or needing to do larger pieces or longer pieces, or just want to not be restricted to only being able to do certain size pieces. Like on my little lathe, I could not do a 9.5 inch diameter piece. It's not a big enough lathe to do it. So, I don't even remember the brand of the lathe that my dad has, but I'm sure if you searched on YouTube or searched on Google for the best beginner lathes, or the best intermediate or medium sized lathes, understand that if the lathe, see here, I'll go back to. We'll go back to Harbor Freight just because. Oh, I've got too many. Let me close all my other window browsers. Yeah, there we go. All right. So here's the next size up from the one that I have, and it's restricted to. It says 10 inch by 18 inch, and it's a 5-speed. So you have to change the speed manually. It's not a dial knob that's variable speed. So yeah, initially I wanted one that was this size. I just hated that it wasn't a variable speed. I couldn't fine tune the rotation of the object. It's got set speeds. So I didn't like that. I wanted the variable speed. But I wish they had done this one as a variable speed. I don't know why they didn't, but they didn't. So it says 10 by 18. So realistically, when you get your piece of wood on this mounting plate, your distance from its center point, the center point of your piece as it's suspended on the lathe here, to this sliding rail, this bottom rail, that is your 10-inch, that is your 5-inch radius, which gives you a 10-inch total diameter. But if you're designing a piece where this tool rest part, where the tool rest piece is, the part that the tool rest goes into that slides along the lathe bench there. Again, I don't know all the terminology for this. Sorry. I don't really, at the end of the day, I don't care. But yeah, the holder, the adjustable holder for your tool rest, if you need to be able to slide that up underneath your piece of wood that you're working with, then you lose 1.5 to 2 inches in that radius. So in reality, on certain pieces, if that tool rest needs to get underneath that piece of wood, then you really, even though it says 10-inch diameter, you really can only end up with a piece that's about 6.5 to 7 inches in diameter. Is what you're going to realistically end up with. And it's 18 long. Ideally 18 long. If the other end is slid all the way back to its stopping point, the space between each point is going to be right about that 18 inches. Realistically, it's more like 16.5 to 17 inches is what your piece is going to end up being able to be as a max on this dimension of lathe. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. If you go back to Harbor Freight's largest one, which it looks like they've got them on clearance, so looks like they're getting rid of their lathes. I don't know if they're going to go to a different design, different brand, different manufacturer, or what. I don't know. This guy is 12 by 33 and 3/8. Now, it says that, but yet the motor piece, I believe on this one, you can switch it around. See how the motor is mounted on the side of the lathe there? Of the mounting plate? The motor is off to the side. It's not underneath. So this actual piece, the actual motor working piece of the lathe, can be turned around. And then so that plate is hanging out on this side, on the opposite side, on the end. And technically, then at that point, you could flare a bolt out and end up with at least the opening, the one side of it, having a larger diameter. So you could end up with like a 16-inch diameter piece, depending on what you're making and how you make it, and having that part of the lathe swapped around and facing the other direction. So, and there are lathes that do that and do that very well, so that you can take a piece that's hanging off the end of the bench and have, you could turn something that has a 60-inch diameter. It's essentially, 30 inches down towards the floor. But yeah, the lathe that my dad has does that. So it's with flipping it around, he could make something that's probably got a 50 to 80 inch diameter, platter, or shallow bowl or something like that. Yeah, I'm kind of rambling. It's the tailstock. Okay, thank you, Crispy. Thank you. My apologies for not being up with all the terminology of a wood lathe. Again, I bought mine not knowing anything other than the fact that you have the lathe, you have the chisels, you put the chisels up against that tool rest towards the wood, and you slowly take away material and shape it. I never asked my dad anything, and I really have only watched a handful of YouTube videos on how to do certain things, turn certain types of pieces. Um, and I haven't had that much conversation with my dad about the wood lathe. I don't know if that upsets him. Like, I don't know if he wishes that he would. I would have more conversation about. I don't know how much he enjoys talking about wood lathes. Uh, I've just kind of just discovered things on my own, kind of like how he did. He went way more into it. He purchased some videotapes, bought some books, and I think he went to a class or two. I think he went to a couple classes. I know he did, actually. Um, yeah, some classes / seminars on wood turning. I've not done any of that. And I think that's when I make the pieces that I make, that's what surprises my dad, is that my output, my production, is as good as it is when I've put such minimal effort to it. I've really put very minimal effort into learning proper technique and proper methods, when to use what chisel. I just go for it. I just wing it every single damn time. So and I don't know, like, when I show him things, when I make things, I show him off to him, or I send him the link to the video, and and I don't know if he's astonished by that, but if he's also kind of perturbed about it, about the fact that I haven't taken a class, that I haven't read a book. I'm not a serious turner. I'm just not a serious turner. Yeah, exactly, Todd. These lathes can get crazy pricey. I actually have a buddy just um, on Facebook, and we really don't talk anymore. I've asked him. I've had a couple of questions for him. I've asked other turners, what different things that they use for finishes, um, or asked them, how well this type of wood handles to these cuts, these designs versus that wood to those designs, that kind of stuff. But uh, there's a fellow that I know that lives in Macon, Georgia, which is like 3.5 hours away from me. Three to 3.5 hours. He lives up there that way, and he has a nice lathe like my dad. If anything, I think his is bigger than the one that my dad has. But he cranks out pieces. He's serious about it. He even teaches seminars now at this point because he's so good at doing what he does, and he's dialed it down to specifics. Specific way of doing something. And he sells his pieces. He probably at this point in time, like if I gone on and asked him today, I would bet that he's got about 60, somewhere between 45 and 65 pieces of wood that he's turned, actual finished art pieces, wood turned art that he's got up for sale, or will be for sale once he's made sure that it's fully stabilized. Because certain woods, it's easier to turn when it's a little bit wet, when it's still a little green. It's easier to turn wood, period, when it's green. But there's, with different types of wood, you're on a tricky spectrum as far as how green can it be, and then you have to store it for X amount of time and focus on trying to get it to dry out slowly without warping, without cracking and splitting and breaking and shearing. Like, it's so much. And when you turn a very green piece of wood, so much can happen to it after you thought you finished it. So yeah, so much can happen when you turn a piece of wood that's still fairly green. And if it is so green that as it's spinning, and I've had a piece of wood on my lathe that was so green that as it was spinning, water and sap was just flying off of it. I got covered in sappy water. It was gross. One thing that happened, I don't know if you've had this happen to you, Todd, or Crispy. My dad had a piece on his lathe a long time ago, again, back when I was like maybe 8th or 9th grade, when he had just started getting into turning himself. He put a piece of wood up there and was making something, turning something, and chiseling away at a design. And all of a sudden, nasty, goopy, gross worm guts, slug guts. They were slugs that were still in this piece of wood. Live slugs. And this piece of wood going at 3,500 RPMs, roughly, when he was getting the initial shape of it. He hit these slugs, and the chisel, just slug guts everywhere, all over him, all over his workshop, everywhere. And there were a lot of them. This piece of wood was stuffed with slugs. And it was horrific. I remember walking out there and just being like, oh my God, did aliens come down and have a war inside this garage? Like, it was so gross. It was so disgusting. So yeah, that's something that you got to be careful about. Oh, Crispy, you just do metal. Okay. Yeah, being with a chrome shop. Yeah, that would be scary to me. I'd be nervous as hell of getting metal shavings in my eye. Because y'all know how much of an issue that is for me. I'm terrible. I'm a smart person, but when it comes to eye protection and eye safety, I become dumber than a sack of bricks. I admit it. I'm not cautious about that as much as I need to be. Yeah. So, I couldn't do metal, and I don't like welding. I've had put plenty of hours of time with a welder and tacking rebar together for framework, for concrete, for pouring concrete. I've welded some sheet metal to create a few things here and there, all while I was in the military. When I had access to a welder like that. My dad I don't think he ever owned a welder in his shop until my brother got into doing stuff and needed a welder. And my brother, I think, brought one over from a friend's house that I believe he ended up buying off of them. So it wasn't until I was well into the military before my dad had a welder, just a basic welder in his workshop. And it was really technically my younger brothers. And my younger brother has a nice welder that he uses. with being on the farm and farm equipment, he's got to weld stuff together all the damn time. You use an arc. I've only used one of those, I think, just once, maybe twice. I don't know. You're trusting your equipment, your welder's helmet. You better never go cheap on a welder's helmet, because that thing is your lifeline on not going blind. You know, and you got to treat it like you should treat a motorcycle helmet, or like your carabiners for rock climbing. You drop it. If it drops, if it falls and it hits the floor hard, can never use it again. Can never trust it again. Cannot. Because those helmets and the way they're designed to have that thing flip down, that screen flip down to protect your eyes from the brightness of those sparks. You are putting so much faith in your ability to see on those helmets. You really, really are. Buy a really good helmet and be super, super careful with it. That's my advice on that one. But all right, I think we went way, way off from talking about knives and EDC stuff to talking about wood lathes and metal lathes. And yeah, okay. All right. I need to make dinner for me and the kids. It's after 6 o'clock. This is probably the longest live I've done. The most rambling I've done. I had a quiet day at work. I didn't talk very much at work today. I was kind of silent. So getting all my talking, all my babbling, all my rambling out on a live. So thank you for joining me. Thank you everybody who stuck around for my nonsense. Appreciate it. Thank you, Javon, again for the Gaul win. This is awesome. I cannot thank you enough. This is cool. This is really cool. Really, really appreciate it. I'm super stoked to do all my giveaways. No giveaway today because, again, as close as I am, 7 more subs. Hopefully, but by October. And my birthday is October 6th. I'll be 36, October 6th. Hopefully, I will be able to that weekend do my live. My giveaway live. That would be fantastic. My birthday weekend to do my 1,000 subscriber giveaway live. That would be dope. So I might do it then just because that's when I want it to happen. Hopefully I'll have 1,000 subs and be able to maintain 1,000 subs by then. It's not that far away. A month and a half, pretty much. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Later. Peace. Deuces. Y'all have a good weekend. I'll see you in other lives.